Welcome again to Ade Digital Marketing Services. Please, if you are watching this video on platforms other than the YouTube, in order for you to be able to watch the video to its conclusion, kindly visit my YouTube channel. Today, we shall look into the power that urine therapy has over coronavirus. By research, I have discovered that common symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, or tiredness. Also, body aches, loss of taste, loss of smell, the common cold where you experience runny nose and nasal congestion. And in severe cases, the patient may be inflicted by pneumonia. Now, even though I have not had the opportunity to treat a coronavirus patient with this therapy, I can boldly infer through the aforementioned characteristics of the coronavirus that the urine therapy is very capable to deal headlong with coronavirus. Let me give you a vivid example of an elderly man who experienced most of the aforementioned symptoms even though the coronavirus had not surfaced on earth as at that time of his experience. One day, I employed the services of this man. He is a brickslayer. This man was over 60 years at that period. Not long after he agreed to do this job, he fell very sick and was admitted at the hospital. After weeks of treatment, the medics became fed up with his condition. So they discharged him and he went back to his home without being healed. When I paid him a visit, I met him lying down on a couch, very helpless. I noticed that his nostrils were congested with mucus. He was trying hard to clear his nostrils from the mucus. This is synonymous to nasal congestion, as I mentioned earlier. He also coughed a little. Remember, this is another symptom of coronavirus. I am very sure he was feeling feverish because he covered himself with a big cloth, which in my language we call agbada, and going by the fact that his nostrils were covered by mucus, definitely he was inflicted by a runny nose. If you have ever contracted the flu or cold during the dry seasons, you will understand this fact. The only symptom I am not sure he experienced as at that time was pneumonia, but all other symptoms related to coronavirus were vividly present on him as at that day. The man told me the medics had discharged him to go and die at home, even though he was not feeling fine at all. He said they gave him a lot of tablets to swallow, but he was already fed up of swallowing the drugs. So he had abandoned those tablets and was expecting the worst. I took pity on him and then introduced the urine therapy to him. His body language was like he was indifferent to the advice. However, I made sure I told him all the do's and don'ts, just in case he would like to try it out so that he would not misuse the therapy. I told him to call me whenever he felt like using the therapy so I would monitor him. Then I left him that night. Days passed and I did not hear anything from him. So I felt that probably he was not interested in the therapy. But about 3 weeks after this event, I was walking along a thoroughfare. Then I saw him driving his car. I was surprised and I called him. When he saw me, he quickly parked his car and beckoned to me. So I skipped the lanes to get to him. I asked about his welfare. He said, I thank God and I also thank you. I was surprised and I asked, did you use the therapy? He said, yes. After you left, I discovered that I could no longer breathe. So I quickly passed my urine in a container and drank it. And not long after, my ability to breathe returned. So I continued with drinking my urine while I followed all the warnings you told me about. I was very joyful that day. This man is still very much alive and healthy today. By now, he is over 70 years old and he is still waxing stronger every day. Let us now compare his experience vis-a-vis the symptoms of coronavirus. If you remember the aforementioned symptoms of coronavirus, almost all those symptoms were present as regards the symptoms this man experienced. First, he had congestion of nostrils, then cough, fever, shortness of breath, which is tantamount to being unable to breathe very well, and so on. Let us assume he did not know what he needed to do to regain his breath at that time. What do you think would have happened? You know the answer as I do. He would have died very fast. But the urine therapy was able to attack the issues in his lungs and diaphragm, through which he was able to breathe very well again. Note, the fact that he was able to breathe as soon as he began drinking his urine does not mean he had been totally healed as at that time, but the urine made a quick attack on the issues affecting his breathing so that he would be able to live his life as if nothing was wrong with him. For him to be totally healed, he must continue drinking the urine for as long as possible, probably several weeks or months afterwards. This is due to the fact that urine therapy is a very slow worker but steady healer. Therefore, with this simple analogy, I believe you will agree with me that this urine therapy I am talking about is very capable of curing the most feared coronavirus. However, let me reliably inform you that the fact that you drink your urine does not prevent diseases from entering your body. But once the diseases get in and the urine senses the presence of a strange element, it takes up a battle against the diseases. Therefore, I advise you to consume your urine heavily almost every day. It is very advantageous to do so. Urine therapy has no dosage at all. This man did not receive any artificial oxygen. Neither did he spend a dime to get back his breath. This is a mystery. Very incredible. I advise you to consider using this therapy for your own good. Having scored this point against the coronavirus, I want to digress to another lesson we can learn from the experiences of this man. You will remember I released a video at one time stipulating that urine therapy can deliver you from spiritual attacks. This man also told me that the reason why the medics could not heal him of his health issue was because it was a spiritual attack. He believed a prophetess with whom he fought at one time when the accuser of being an occultic prophetess attacked him in the spirit. The medics tried their best to fish out the cause for his sickness, but their machines could not decipher the cause because it was a spiritual attack. So the medics got fed up with him and sent him back home. But when he started drinking his urine, the urine was able to fish out the problem and went ahead to fight that problem. Hence, the victorious healing of the man. Can you now see that urine therapy can deliver you from spiritual attacks? For the sake of people watching my video for the first time, I need to drop a silent warning on the use of urine therapy. Every healing method has its own unique do's and don'ts, which you must follow intently in order to achieve success in healing. Otherwise, you may be in for trouble. In like manner, the urine therapy also has its own do's and don'ts, and if you neglect the laid down rules, you will be abusing the substance, thereby endangering your life. You would even be confused in the long run due to the way it works. Therefore, you must first of all understand the nitty-gritty of this life-saving substance before using it, so that you might regain absolute health in the long run. And so, I have taken it upon myself to write an ebook on the subject of urine therapy. This ebook contains detailed do's and don'ts of urine therapy. It also contains a lot of my sweet experiences as a urine therapist in the past 24 years. You will also find in the ebook various ways by which you can tackle your health issues with the urine therapy. It is a very handy guide for every intended user of urine therapy. My WhatsApp and email contacts are at the beginning of this video. Please replay the video in order to get my contacts. You can use any of these contacts to order for this ebook. I implore you to hastily order your own copy of the ebook as soon as this video ends. I also advise that you read and digest the information in the ebook in preparation against any health issues you may encounter in the future. And since there are so many diseases on earth, the ebook will certainly not cover all health issues, but the treatment to the others that are not mentioned in the ebook can be inferred from the ones mentioned. In conclusion, if you are watching this video on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell button so that YouTube may update you whenever I release other videos. And if you are watching me on other social media platforms, kindly follow my videos so that you may get my other videos on this subject regularly. And please make efforts to share to your loved ones who may be suffering under any form of health issues. You will be helping many souls live a meaningful and healthy life by sharing this video to them. Lastly, please drop a comment on these videos. 2 to 3 words of comment are enough. My next video shall be titled Urine Therapy Terminates Bedwetting. Thank you for sparing your valuable time to watch this video. You shall be glad you did. Until next time, when we shall meet again, I say stay healthy.